Have you ever woken up and just felt different? Not sick, not in pain, but like something inside you had quietly stepped back? You swing your legs off the bed. Your feet touch the floor. But instead of strength, there's hesitation. A little more stiffness. A little less fire. And maybe your mind says, come on, get moving, but your body answers with silence. A silence that wasn't there 10 years ago. I've seen it in the eyes of many men. Men who once moved with certainty, who once stood in the mirror and saw power, now wondering where it all went. And here's the hardest part: they start to believe it's just age. That this is how the story ends. But what if I told you that your body isn't done? What if it's not giving up, it's just waiting? Waiting for a signal. Waiting for the fuel it understands. Not a pill. Not another promise in a bottle. But real food. The kind your body still remembers how to use. You see, I used to think rest would fix it. Or more supplements. Or maybe just pushing through the fatigue. But then one quiet morning, something shifted. I sat there, fork in hand, a plate in front of me with nothing special, just 2 eggs, a bowl of warm oats, a handful of berries. And I took a bite. Not rushed. Not distracted. Just present. And something inside me whispered, thank you. It wasn't dramatic. But it was real. From that morning on, I saw things differently. Not just as a doctor, but as a man who had nearly forgotten what it feels like to feel full, not just in belly, but in strength. So if you're over 60, and you've started believing the lie that your body is fading, let me invite you into a new truth. Sometimes the path back to power doesn't begin in a gym or a clinic, it begins in your kitchen. And it all starts with one high-protein breakfast. One plate, one choice. To rise, not just from bed, but from within. You know what I hear most often from men over 60? It's just part of getting older, but let me ask you something honestly, what if it's not? What if the heaviness in your legs, the way your hands feel a little less steady in the morning, or the way your energy crashes before noon, what if none of that is about age? What if it's about neglect? Not because you're lazy or careless, but because no one ever told you what your body actually needs after 60. You see, most men I meet aren't doing anything wrong. They're just doing nothing. They skip breakfast. Grab a quick coffee. Maybe a slice of toast, maybe nothing at all. And then they wonder, why am I weaker? Why don't I recover like I used to? Why do I feel like I'm watching myself fade from the inside out? The truth is simple. Your body is not breaking down, it's starving for the right kind of fuel. Especially in the first hour after waking. That window right after you open your eyes is when your blood flow is most responsive, your hormones most flexible, and your muscles most ready to receive. But instead of nourishment, most men feed themselves caffeine, sugar, or nothing. And over time, that silence you feel in your body? It grows. Not because your engine is broken, but because you're running on fumes. I had one patient, Ronald, he's 71. He told me, Doc, I'm up before the sun every day. I make the coffee, I check the news, I move around, but I just feel like I'm floating through it. Weak, fuzzy. No grip. So I asked him the one question no one had ever asked. What do you eat within the first hour after waking? He paused. Looked confused. Nothing, he said. Just coffee, I nodded. And then I told him what I'm telling you now, your body has been speaking. Not with words. But with slowness. With tension. With a quiet pull toward the chair instead of the walk. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. It's your body saying, feed me what I need to rebuild, and what it needs is protein. Real, usable, time-sensitive protein. So if you've been skipping breakfast, or loading up on carbs without structure, I want you to hear me now, it's not too late. But it is time. Time to listen. Time to answer that quiet call with something solid. Time to bring back a morning ritual that doesn't just wake you up but wakes up your strength. Because the body you live in still remembers how to be powerful. You just have to give it the right signal. And that signal is coming next. Let me tell you about Marcus. He's 68. Retired mechanical engineer. The kind of man who used to lift heavy things without thinking twice. Equipment, boxes, responsibilities. The kind of man whose handshake told you everything you needed to know. But when he sat down in my office last spring, he didn't shake my hand. He looked down. His voice was quiet. "Doc," he said, "I'm not in pain, but I feel like I'm disappearing." He wasn't talking about disease. He was talking about something deeper. A slow erosion. Of strength. Of confidence. Of the spark that once made him feel like himself. I asked him what his mornings looked like. He shrugged. "Cup of coffee, toast if I'm hungry, but usually I'm not," I nodded. Because I'd heard this story before. So many times. So I didn't reach for a prescription pad. I reached for something simpler. Something real. And I said, "Tomorrow morning, Marcus, do this instead. Right finger 2 whole eggs. Right finger half a cup of warm oats. Right finger a spoon of flaxseed. Right finger 5 or 6 blueberries. Right finger 1 glass of warm water before it all." He raised an eyebrow. That's it, I said. "But don't eat it fast. Sit down, be present, and notice how you feel." He agreed mostly out of courtesy. But 3 weeks later, he walked back into my office. He opened the door differently. He stood taller. His handshake was back. "Doc," he said with a grin, "I don't know if it's the oats, or the eggs, or the way I chew, but I feel like my body finally got the message. We're back in business." And it wasn't just the physical. He told me he started taking longer walks. He felt steadier on the stairs. He had more patience with his grandkids. And for the first time in years he woke up with clarity. Not because of a supplement. Not because of a drug. Because of a plate of food. A simple, high-protein breakfast that told his body, "You still matter. I still believe in you." That's what nourishment can do. It doesn't just build muscle. It rebuilds belief. It restores momentum. And it all started with one quiet plate. Let me ask you something. If you left a car in the garage for 5 years without gas, no oil, no ignition, would you be surprised if it didn't run? Of course not. But that's exactly what many men do to their own biology after 60. Not on purpose. But by forgetting to fuel it the way it was designed. See, after 60, your body doesn't stop working. It simply stops getting the materials it needs to repair itself. Let's talk about muscle. Not just biceps or chest, but the muscles that hold your posture, steady your steps, power your energy, and keep your confidence intact. After 60, your ability to synthesize protein to actually convert the food you eat into muscle repair starts to decline. And if your breakfast is low protein or non-existent, that repair system just never turns on. So the muscles shrink. Your legs feel heavier. Your hands lose grip. Balance becomes shaky. And strength doesn't just fade, it leaks slowly, day after day. But here's the powerful truth. That process is reversible. Your body still remembers how to build. It just needs you to send the signal. And the most powerful way to send it? A high-protein breakfast. Every single morning. Not a powder. Not a pill. Just real food that's rich in 3 key elements. Checkmark leucine, the spark plug. This amino acid triggers the "start building now" switch in your muscles. You'll find it in eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Checkmark vitamin B12, the energy mover. It helps your nerves fire, your brain think clearly, and your heart pump efficiently. It's also critical for red blood cell production. No B12, no vitality. Checkmark magnesium plus zinc, the quiet warriors. These minerals help regulate testosterone, calm inflammation, and stabilize blood pressure. Without them, your system becomes chaotic and fatigued. When you give your body these nutrients first thing in the morning, your biology doesn't just wake up, it starts rebuilding. Think of it like watering a dry garden. At first, the soil just soaks it in. But keep going, and within days, new roots take hold. Green returns. Life comes back. That's how protein works for men after 60. It doesn't change everything overnight. But with consistency, it restores the architecture of your strength from the inside out. So if your body has forgotten how to rebuild, you don't need to yell at it. You just need to whisper the right message. Every morning. Through food. And that message? I'm still here, I still want to be strong, and your body will listen. Let's make this simple. Not complicated. Not overwhelming. Not a 20-step diet. Just a quiet ritual that tells your body, I'm showing up for you, starting now. Tomorrow morning, I want you to try this. 2 whole eggs, boiled, scrambled, or soft poached. They're packed with leucine and B12, the very nutrients your muscles and mind are craving. Don't skip the yolk. That's where the healing lives. Bowl with spoon half a bowl of oats, warm and unhurried. Oats are rich in slow-release carbohydrates and magnesium, fueling your muscles without spiking your blood sugar. Top it with chestnut 1 tablespoon of flaxseed or chia seeds, for omega-3s. They keep your arteries soft, reduce inflammation, and help your blood flow where it needs to go, especially in the lower body. Blueberries, a handful of berries, blueberries, strawberries, or banana slices. They're not just sweet. They're cell protectors, loaded with antioxidants to guard your brain and blood vessels. Droplet 1 glass of warm water, first. Before the food. Why? Because hydration wakes up your circulation, gently tells your system, it's time to move. It's time to receive. Now here's the part most people skip: right finger, eat slowly. No TV. No phone. No headlines. Just you and the plate. Let this become a moment. A message. A pause that says, I matter enough to nourish, not to eat just for energy but to rebuild. And if your mornings have been rushed, distracted, or skipped entirely, then this small act becomes even more powerful. You're not just eating. You're reconnecting. With your breath. With your body. With your strength. I had a patient once tell me, Doc, that bowl of oats became the only thing I did for myself all day, but it changed everything. He stood taller. He walked farther. He began each day not behind, but already restoring. So tomorrow morning, don't aim for perfection. Aim for presence. Sit down. Take the fork. Take the moment. And let your body know, we're still in this together, because healing isn't loud. It's quiet. It starts in the kitchen. And it builds bite by bite. Let's be honest for a second. Most men over 60 don't feel weaker because they've aged too far. They feel weaker because they have no plan. No structure. No rhythm. They try something new one day, skip it the next. They forget what helped, fall back into old habits. And slowly, without ever deciding to, they stop trying. But that doesn't have to be you. You're here now. You're listening. And you've already taken the hardest step. You've decided to care again. So let's keep it simple. Not perfect. Just consistent. Here's what I want you to do. Start with 5 mornings. Just 5. On day 1, wake up and make yourself 2 whole eggs. Scramble them, boil them however you like. Add a small bowl of oats on the side, and sprinkle in a spoonful of flaxseed. If you have a banana, slice it over the top. That's it. Warm, simple, powerful. On day 2, maybe you switch things up. Boil your eggs again, but this time pair them with a slice of whole grain toast. Mash a little avocado on top if you have it. That healthy fat? Your hormones will thank you. Day 3? Let's get creative. Whip up a veggie omelette: spinach, peppers, mushrooms, whatever you like. Serve it with a side of Greek yogurt. Toss in a few pumpkin seeds if you have them. Zinc and magnesium, your quiet hormonal allies, are hidden in those little seeds. By day 4, try something even easier. Blend a smoothie: unsweetened almond milk, a handful of berries, 1 scoop of whey protein. If you have chia seeds or cinnamon, add them. You've just made yourself a meal that fuels blood flow and balance for the whole morning. And on day 5, return to something comforting. Soft scrambled eggs. A warm bowl of oats with berries. And maybe before you even take that first bite, a glass of warm lemon water. Not for detox, but as a gentle wake-up for your entire system. Now listen, you don't have to follow this plan perfectly. You don't even have to do it in that exact order. What matters is that you show up. That you make this morning time yours. Because every bite you take in that first hour, it's either feeding your recovery or feeding your decline. There's no in between. Even 10 quiet minutes at the kitchen table, just you, your fork, your food, can be the most powerful medicine you take all day. Not because of what's on the plate, but because of what it represents. It's a promise. A personal declaration that says, I'm not giving up. I'm not fading. I'm rebuilding. I remember one man, Larry, 73. He sent me a message just 5 days into this routine. Doc, he wrote, I feel like I've been invited back into my own body. That's what happens when you eat with intention. When your breakfast becomes more than fuel, it becomes a foundation. So tomorrow morning, what will it be? Will it be eggs and oats? A smoothie made with purpose? Or maybe, for the first time in a long time, a breakfast that actually makes you feel strong again? Whatever you choose, know this is your moment. Your fork. Your comeback. And it all begins with one bite. Let me say this as clearly as I can. You don't have to chase your youth. You don't need to look like you did at 25. But you do deserve to feel present in your own body. To wake up and feel strong, not just physically, but inwardly. Steady, grounded, alive. And here's something most men forget: strength doesn't vanish. It waits. Not loudly, but patiently, for you to come back and claim it. And the path back? It doesn't require a gym membership. It doesn't come in a bottle. It starts with one quiet choice. Made in your kitchen. Repeated with care. I've seen it again and again. Men in their 60s, 70s, even late 80s who once thought, maybe this is just the way it is now, until they began showing up for themselves in the morning. With food. With intention. With something as simple as 2 eggs, a bowl of oats, or a smoothie made with purpose. That's where the shift begins. In the first hour of the day. In a choice that whispers, I still care, I still believe in this body. And you know what happens? Energy returns. Posture straightens. Confidence rises, not because of the mirror, but because you feel solid again. So here's what I want to invite you to do. Tomorrow morning, try one thing. Just one. Make that high-protein breakfast. Eat it without distraction. And if you notice even a small shift, if you feel steadier, clearer, more awake, come back here. And just say this: I'm back, because when you say that, you're not just speaking for yourself. You're lighting a path for someone else. Another man who might be struggling in silence, wondering if there's any way to feel strong again. If you already have a breakfast ritual that's helped you recover, share it. You might be the reason someone else doesn't give up. And if this message sparked something in you, even a flicker, send it to someone you care about. A friend. A brother. A father. Someone who deserves to feel whole again. Let's make this more than a conversation. Let's make it a quiet revolution. Men over 60, choosing to rebuild. Choosing to eat with care. Choosing not to disappear into the background, but to rise, gently but powerfully, back into their own strength. Because here's what I want you to carry with you: you are not broken. You are rebuildable. And this morning? This breakfast? This one small moment? It could be the beginning of everything.